This week, police say they have the man who randomly choked a woman to death on a city sidewalk. Plus, a child is almost snatched away from his father in broad daylight. And
she was just in total shock looking down at her wound. It was just crazy.
A young girl is shot in the stomach while walking with her dad. Right now, Fox 5's Crime in the City. We begin with our first story, where a 7-year-old girl was shot in the stomach in Upper Manhattan. Police have detained 2 teenagers, ages 17 and 19, in connection with that shooting, which officials believe is gang-related.
All unfolded in the middle of the day. Police confirming this is the latest incident of gang violence in the city.
All right, let's get right out to Fox 5's Duarte Geraldino, who's live in Hamilton Heights. Duarte, what are you hearing from people in the community tonight?
Everyone in the community is just shocked that a 7-year-old has been shot, and tonight police are confirming that the 2 people who are in custody are actually teenagers. I'm talking about a 17 and a 19-year-old. And tonight, everyone is praying for that 7-year-old and her family. Cell phone footage captures the moment right after a 7-year-old girl was shot on West 145th Street and Bradhurst Avenue in Upper Manhattan. She was walking with her dad just before 3 p.m. when a bullet hit her in the stomach.
I was walking with him. I was walking. He could just cross the street. The 2 males were apprehended running. One had a firearm on him, and we're currently looking for a second weapon.
Police temporarily closed off parts of 145th Street and Bradhurst Avenue as they collected shell casings near this white SUV along Jackie Robinson Park. Police say the shooters popped out from behind the SUV and started shooting across the street. Several bullets hit this Starbucks. One struck the young girl.
Both fire rounds eastbound, striking the female. We believe it's gang-related. There was 2 intended people that they were firing at mid-block on 145 Street between 8th and Bradhurst.
Officers didn't wait for an ambulance. They picked the girl up, placed her in a cruiser, and rushed her to the hospital.
Emergency!
Angel Casanova lives nearby and remembers hearing 6 to 8 shots. He says he's never going to forget the horror on the girl's dad's face.
He was saying that he wished it was him that was shot. He was like, I wish it was me. They could have killed me. They could have killed me. That's all I heard from him. I was trying to calm him down, and that's all he said.
And what about the girl? Was she able to talk or anything?
She was in shock. She was just like trying to assess the situation, and she was just in total shock looking down at her wound. It was just crazy.
And when you say in shock, was she even crying or just silent shock?
Just silent shock. She didn't know what to do.
Witnesses say it looked like the bullet went straight through her small body. And the area beside the white SUV behind me is still being blocked off by police officers because there could be evidence there that could link the shooters to this particular case.
We now go to Midtown Manhattan, where back in October, a woman was choked to death on a sidewalk in a random attack. This week, police say they now have arrested the suspect in that case.
A woman was choked out outside of a hotel in Times Square.
All right, let's get right to the scene. And Fox 5's Linda Schmidt, who is our top story tonight at 5. Linda, wow.
Yeah, absolutely awful story here. We're talking about a 23-year-old woman. Police telling us that she was stalked by a man that she didn't know as she was walking on the sidewalk here. We are outside of the Plaza New York Times Square Hotel. This is just off of 8th Avenue. It is near Times Square, but it is actually in Midtown. And they are telling me that this man had a long criminal history. Go ahead and take a look at this video right here. This is from earlier today. Now, police are saying this is the suspect. He is 33-year-old Jaheim Warren of Prospect Park, New Jersey. He was arrested today in New Jersey by a task force that includes the NYPD and the U.S. Marshals Service. Now, police say that it was about 4:45 in the morning on October 29th when 23-year-old Leslie Torres was walking on West 46th Street by herself. Now, the suspect had been randomly following her. They did not know one another. Police say he attacked her and strangled her right on the sidewalk. Now, at this particular time, the young woman then was rushed to the hospital. Now, last week, she died, sadly, from her injuries. Now, police are also saying that this suspect has a long criminal history in New Jersey and that he served time in prison in New Jersey for drug dealing. But again, I mean, it's just an awful crime to think about. A 23-year-old woman just simply walking on the sidewalk here near Times Square, no matter what time of day, and randomly is attacked and strangled.
Up in a Harlem subway station, a woman was slashed in the face repeatedly and then shoved onto the tracks. Police are still looking for the suspect in this case.
Police are searching for the suspect behind a brutal attack inside a Harlem subway station.
It happened on November 5th inside the station at West 125th Street and St. Nicholas Avenue. Police say a man grabbed a woman's hair, slashed her several times in the face, then threw her onto the tracks before he ran off. He has since been identified as Michael Blount. He's 29 years old. Do you have any information on him? If you do, please contact police immediately.
Over in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, police say they arrested the suspect who brazenly tried to kidnap a child in broad daylight. And it was all caught on camera.
The NYPD tonight says a suspect who tried to kidnap a child in Brooklyn is under arrest. Police say 28-year-old Stephen Stowe, they say pictured here, tried to grab a 6-year-old boy walking with his father. The father fought back and was able to hold on to his child. This happened on Kingston Avenue in Crown Heights yesterday afternoon at about 6. There were no injuries. Stowe reportedly has a long criminal record and has now been charged with second-degree kidnapping.
And finally, we end in Lower Manhattan, where the controversial chokehold death trial of Daniel Penny resumes. Prosecutors continuing to present their case, trying to convince the jury Penny's actions were excessive and unwarranted.
New developments in the Daniel Penny trial today as court resumed following the Veterans Day holiday.
All right, Penny, of course, the Marine veteran accused of putting Jordan Neely in a deadly chokehold on the subway last year. Fox 5's Lisa Evers joins us live from Lower Manhattan. And Lisa, what happened in court today?
Well, in court today, the Daniel Penny trial resumed after the 3-day holiday weekend. Prosecutors continued presenting their case, trying to convince the jury that Daniel Penny's actions were excessive and unwarranted, despite earlier testimony from witnesses who said that they felt threatened by an erratic and were terrified by Jordan Neely. 26-year-old Marine veteran Daniel Penny arrived at Manhattan Criminal Court at 100 Center Street with his legal team for the start of week 4 of his manslaughter trial. Prosecutors showed various edited clips of police body cam video in the minutes after the subway car came into the station, with police walking towards the train and entering the car. In one clip, you see the chokehold on Jordan Neely, with him resisting until he became motionless. Very dramatic video to see in court, and upsetting many of the people who were there as his supporters. As police tried to organize the situation, the jury and those in the courtroom saw Daniel Penny standing nearby for a while before police asked him for his ID. The EMT, who was one of the two responding to the scene, testified about what he and his partner did to try to resuscitate Neely. One of Penny's attorneys questioned the EMT about how long it was before they arrived at the subway car after the 911 call for help. The answer was 20 minutes for his partner, who got there first, and 21 minutes for him. Now, Daniel Penny's attorneys have repeatedly maintained that he was trying to prevent any actions, any negative actions against any of the passengers, and are maintaining his innocence. There was also some dramatic testimony from the man that the world saw in that video as the person who appeared to be helping Daniel Penny hold down Jordan Neely. We'll have more on that for you on the Fox 5 News at 6.
That's this week's Crime in the City. Subscribe for more at youtube.com/Fox5NY.